Ignorance after ignorance. And after ignoring those calls for impeachment from the left, the national left-wing media was so outraged over Chairman Nunes saying it was shameful that he would try to shield the president. Oh, that's terrible that Republicans would want to protect this president, in the minds at least of the national left-wing media. The fact is, Devin Nunes was absolutely correct, and the left, as usual, well, far, far gone. Joining me now, Eric Eggers. He's research director at the Government Accountability Institute. He's author of the newly released book, Fraud: How the Left Plans to Steal the Next Election. Eric, it's good to have you with us. And voter fraud, we hear the left continue to dismiss the very idea, saying the numbers are too small. It's not a matter that we should worry our little heads about. You found quite a different result.
That's right, Lou, and it's great to be here. At the Government Accountability Institute, we decided, because we're tired of hearing talk about this so-called myth of voter fraud, we want to see what the actual evidence was. So we did an unprecedented look at the national level using all the publicly available voter rolls we could gather, and we hired a data expert and contracted with a commercial database. And what we found was stunning. We found in the state of Florida what appeared to be over 2,100 examples of double voting. That means that 2,100 Floridians cast one ballot in 2016 and then cast a second ballot in a different state. And as I'm sure you and your viewers remember, that's nearly 4 times the margin of victory in the 2000 presidential election. So this idea that voter fraud doesn't occur on a scale to sway significant elections is clearly just not true.
Well, I remember clearly, but much of the audience is too young to remember, Eric, I'm sure. But everybody's aware of one thing. When the Supreme Court starts citing statistics that say that the potential for voter fraud is immense, that is something that we all can focus on clearly and unequivocally. And the number of double state registrations to vote, the number of registered voters outnumbering those who would be eligible to vote because of their age, I mean, it's striking, and it is deeply concerning.
It absolutely is, Lou. The Supreme Court cited statistics, as you noted, that says there's nearly 3 million voter registrations in this country of people who are registered to vote in more than one state. And even the President Obama's own Commission on Election Administration in 2013 noted that 16 million voter registrations are significantly inaccurate or flawed. In some states, it's up to 15% or 1 in 7. And you talk about the issues of nationwide irregularity. There's 248 counties in this nation that have more registered voters than legal residents of voting age. So clearly there's a problem, and this idea that there aren't organized efforts paid for by George Soros to go out and manipulate those exploitations, that's just inconsistent with what I found in my book.
Yeah, and the fact is that Soros is spending tens of millions of dollars to pursue an election system that would be the envy of the KGB or the SRU. If they're trying to meddle, we have enough people colluding with the Russians in that effort, certainly inspired by George Soros, his money, and the organizations that he is funding.
Yeah, you hear a lot about this idea of Russian collusion. In fact, when I told people I was writing a book on voter fraud, they said, oh, so it's going to be about the Russians, right? And look, we should clearly be concerned about any threat to election security. But I think it's silly to assume that somehow Russians are less concerned about manipulating American political outcomes than the Democrats.
Yeah, I do think, by the way, that we should not only be concerned about it, we should be safeguarding the integrity of these elections. There should be Republicans and Democrats at every polling booth in the country, polling place in the country, to assure the integrity. But you and I both know that's not going to be sufficient. And these two parties had better be certain this time that they're doing everything they can. Your book will help in that effort. Eric, we thank you for being with us. Come back soon. We'll continue to watch very carefully the issues surrounding the integrity of this election. Very important. Thank you very much, Eric Eggers.